Hey guys, how are you? Jakiva McGee here. I'm going to go over to you the wholesale deal of the week or even the month and break down to you how I got this deal, what it took to secure it, how did we find the cash buyer, and what problems did we run into after closings. So I decided to start giving you guys the reality of wholesaling and just to break down all of my deals from now on. So basically this deal was brought to me by another investor and wholesaler up in New York. His name is Kenneth. I'll drop his contact information below. He's a great guy. Him and my other partner, Franz Derival, they introduced me into wholesaling and we closed quite a few deals since we've been working together. But today I just felt particularly obligated to make a post about this deal, so I will. So here I have you this 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 1,000 square foot here located in Fort Pierce. The reason why this deal was sent to me is because the homeowner did not have an email. So he was an old school guy, very stubborn. He wasn't going to open up an email to sell his property, so he just wanted to put a face to a name, come to the property with a purchase agreement, and keep it simple as possible. That guy, fortunately, was me, and I took full advantage of this opportunity. So I went ahead and went to the property, met with the seller. Before I went to the property, I told him, "Hey, Mr. Rilo, I'm in a range between 140,000 and 150,000. Would that work for you before I come out to the property?" He said, "Yes, it will work." So I got a tour of the property. I'll be dropping a video of that. You should see it somewhere of how the property looked inside. And he also gave me a tour of this back shed back here. As you can see, it's a shed back there. There was a boat in there. So I offered him and said, "Hey, Mr. Rilo, if I was able to perform on this deal, would you throw in a boat with the property?" He said, "Of course, because obviously I'm doing him a favor, so he'll do me a favor in return. I'll also let you see the boat that he gave." But I'm very thankful for that. We got down to the kitchen table and now it's time to initiate the purchase agreement and sign off. But when I get there, there was an accountant that was standing in the middle of us. So I said, "No worries, connect me with your accountant so he can let me know what I need to do to get this deal to the closing table." Thankfully, this was a motivated seller, so he moved very quickly with getting me his accountant information, and that was a win-win for both of us. All the accountant needed for us was to get an appraisal of the property so he can pay less taxes on the sale of the property. He didn't want to pay the capital gains from when his mother left him the property back in 2017. So he wanted to see was the property appraised more than what we purchased it for. So that was his only issue. So I went ahead and seen it was a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 1,000 square foot. The year built was 1958 and it sits on almost a half an acre. So I'm gonna take this information and I already kind of filtered it in there. Sold properties, 2-bed, 1-bath with single family homes only, and entered the square foot amount that we needed. The year built, it was built in 1958, so I did 10 years above and 10 years below, and obviously I want the current market status, so what sold in the last 6 months. With that being said, I'm gonna zoom in to where our property is. As you can see, there's no immediate comparables in the area, so I had to get creative with it. So I see down here similar results nearby within 2 miles. One property sold for 151, which looked like an investor deal because the other one sold for 220. This property looks the same condition as my property. Maybe we undersold the property, but hey, the buyer is happy, so am I, and so is the seller. So we don't try to get too greedy with this. As we can see, a similar property sold for 215, but it's a bit smaller, so this may have been a good comparable. ARV is 215, built just a year before my property was built. It sold for 157, and the guy just recently sold this in October for 215. So that's a solid comp right there. This comparable right here, this is basically the same house because it sits on a huge lot as well. The interior looked very similar, but overall I'll take the number as 215 as the comparable. So as the ARV, so we have 215 times 70%. which is 150, and that was my max offer. Now I'm going to subtract my assignment fee. I normally want 20K off each assignment fee, and that sits us around 130. So if I wanted to make $20,000, I would need it to be around 130. But the good thing is, knowing the local real estate market does do you a bit of a favor, because you can lock up things a bit over your max allowable offer and still sell it. So just knowing that, and knowing the active cash buyers in the area, I was confident if I locked this property up at 144,000, I can possibly make my 20K assignment fee, even though it's slightly above the recent comps. But it still makes sense because it sits on the large lot and the property just need a light renovation. So with that being said, I'm gonna go over to how I found the cash buyer. As you can see, this is a new cash buyer list I am building. I do have a larger list where it is almost 10,000 cash buyers, but this is just a new market I'm joining. So I called up some of my buyers here. The buyer that purchased this deal, I actually got him off Zillow. It was for rent, so I called up the broker, let him know I have a similar property to the one that is for rent on Zillow, and I sent him over the property details. Good thing the broker was also a real estate expert. He ran his numbers, sent it over to one of his cash buyers, and the end buyer was able to send in an EMD and sign the assignment fairly quickly, which made it very easy on my end because I just made $7 grand off of signing a piece of paper, and I had no idea that this deal was going to be brought to me. That was how it was done. The agreement here, this was the end result. Here's his company, my company, the purpose of the joint venture was just the deal, the profit split. We added a 20K assignment fee. Also, this what his company walked away with, this what my company walked away with. And we both agreed to the terms, and it was a deal done. So, you know, I'm looking forward to doing more deals like this through the joint venture strategy. If you have any deals local in Florida and you have no one to get in contact with them, you can count on me to get the job done. Also, if I have deals in your area and I need someone to show up to the property, I'll be happy to send them to you as well.